Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chesswise. Today we are at the next topic, analysis of a complex position, and in this lesson we come across those positions which look very complicated and we see how the masters break it down. So today we have a very interesting example in front of us. Mikhail Tal, the master of sacrifice, is white and he is playing against Lutikov. So have a look at the position here. The black queen is hanging. Last move was queen takes queen on a3 and it is white's turn. What would you do as white? Let's try to figure out. If we look at the position, the first thing which we will realize is the black king placing. See, the black is not feeling safe with his king on e8. The queen can be taken. There is no hurry to instantly grab the queen. Two moves which come to mind for white are, see, in c7 check, and even the move re1 can be considered letting the queen go away. So most obvious move seems to be nc7 and followed by re1 or taking on e6. These are the lines which one would normally think of. Okay, even the white player is not very strong. He won't take ba3 very easily. I'll tell you one reason. The weaker players instantly like to play b takes a3. The problem with that is it will allow black immediate equality kind of thing, because after bac we will first take this dangerous knight and after bd5 we will just see snatch this bishop as well. We don't want to do fg2 because of the move c re1 check over here. This will cause some trouble. Here instead just knight takes d5, snatch that important bishop, and after rook d5 here also no need to play fg2, just castle, and after any move like let's say g3, white won't take gf3. We can say that the black position looks quite okay here. Although he is pawn down, see there are some structural issues. White cannot create a passed pawn here, see, with this structure. So I think black has reached close to equality over here. So ba3 is definitely a mistake. Of course, Mikhail Tal saw nc7. Many would see nc7, but my point is that after nc7, ke7, what would you do as white here? White has two amazing possibilities. One is, see, just getting rook h1. Okay, the e6 bishop hangs. We are letting this queen go to, see, c5, d6 and maybe a5 in the upcoming lines. But is rook e6 check worth allowing the queen to escape? That is the thing. Or else should we go just with the move bishop takes e6? In the game, Tal went with rook h1. I think his choice looks very good. The lines which ensue will show us that he got very good play. See, after queen d6 here, we just take on d6, kd6, and see we have the very important move ne6. Why? The threat is bishop f4 check and the king is not at all looking safe over here. So we will see next nc7 coming up and say this is a great position for white. After queen moving to a5, keeping the e1 rook attacked and mainly the c queen attacks this bishop on g5. Things become very easy for white. Try to calculate what would you do here as white. Of course, re6 check, king f8, and can we finish off the game here? The king really looks unsafe. So see comes the move bishop f4, very strong move. Even the move rook f6 was to be considered, followed by bishop h6 check, but somehow it doesn't mate. So here after see bd6 threat, things are looking very difficult now. Only move perhaps rook d8, but then on to takes and see bd6 check, it's game over. King has to move to f7. Do try to calculate till the end of this line. It looks like rook e5 check and rook will take the queen, but there is this f into g2 looming, so we need to check that line properly. So after rook e5, kg6, rook a5, what have you seen after the move fg2? See, we definitely should not miss such lines, because what happens, the position looks winning and if we cannot stop this g pawn, suddenly the game would become losing also from here. So white had of course seen the move bd3 check and see wherever the king moves. So king h6 there is just bishop f4, okay, and to king f7 there is rook g5 controlling the queening square of the pawn and the pawn would be lost. So white is winning. Finally in the game, black played the move qc5, same idea, keeping g5 attacked, but this time white finishes off the game, see, with rook e6 check, king f8, we will see that d6 is well covered over here by the queen, and the queen c mainly attacks both the bishops. That is the main point here. Bishop f4 is just too slow out here. So white had to see this. So here comes rook f6 check, g takes f6, and see knight e6 check. Two checks were there. Knight e6 wins the queen. See, after k e7, knight c5. Very true. F takes g5. Black is still an exchange up, but white saw that after rook check, k f6. Once again rook check, keeping the knight on c6 under this rook's attack, and see after kg7. Here white would just take g takes f3, and now you can note that there are two pawns for the exchange. b7 is weak, it will be taken soon, and see there is also check on e6. So maybe one more pawn would be lost. White converted this game. Okay, so white's position and choice to play rook h1 was pretty good. Let's see what could have been better than this. So it seems that instead of rhe1, the other possibility b6, very interesting one, is actually even stronger. Now see, there are two threats. We are ignoring the queen for the time being. You can see the square d7 from where the rook wants to give check is very strong. Here we have already taken the piece, means if we get the queen back just by ba3, we will be piece up. See, even the rook on a8 is hanging. So this one gives some better prospects. Black can force an endgame. Let's see. He can go with queen d6 here. If queen c5, then see rd7 check, king f8. This leads to a forced mate. See, the g5 bishop is hanging, but rook f7, kg8, rook f6 mates on the spot. So qd6 was forced, but then see takes, bishop f4 check, knight e5, because we have to keep this bishop hanging. So knight e5, and after knight e5, knight a8, k e6. This line, mostly Tal must have seen this line, and he must have thought that here he is just getting a pawn. But this line seems to be somewhat better. Here see, after knight c7 check, king f5, white has to play precisely bishop e5, k e5, and see, he should not hurry with the move g takes f3, because after g takes f3 there is a6. The knight might get locked over here. Of course, it won't get trapped. There is re1 and ne6 perhaps, but see, knight b5, very safe move. Point being, after fg, rook g1, g2 will be regained. White is just a healthy pawn up. So on the queen side, he can create a passer and win the game. So this line seemed better than the move rook h1. Of course, the two pawns for exchange position was also definitely clearly better for white. But here things are a bit simple. So I hope you are liking these lessons. Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.